I wish that I didn't know how to read and write because it said that I was less impregnated, isn't it? I was less molested. This man does not know how to read or write. And he don't even, when he receives a letter, he gives it to someone. You want to read that for me? Tell me what it says. And he's not embarrassed. He's using you to read this garbage. Whatever this garbage, it has to be read. So today, the lecture was not really on AIDS, wasn't it? It was showing where we are as a people. Whether we're Muslims, whether we're Christian, whether we're Buddhists, whether we're Shinto, we're brothers and sisters came from the same gene of Africa, isn't it? So we have to go back, and now we have the greatest gift. Remember what the prophecy said? That Joseph was taken to Egypt as a slave, and then he became the king? Well, I don't know if we want to be kings, isn't it? Because what does a king do anyway? Sit on a throne. I often wonder, when did it become necessary in the African chronology that we were supposed to be kings? You know, we hear people say, oh, but we were kings and queens. But just a minute, just stop it. Here is a bunch of people made by nature, naked in the forest. And he said naked, not natural, but without no clothes. His balls are hanging, and he's a king. Now, what is it that this king is going to do for us that we could not do for ourselves? So what in the devil are we talking about? The word king, that's not even black. That came out of Europe, isn't it? Ah, but we go around saying that we were kings and queens. What does a king do? I mean, I never thought it. I mean, where it was useful? A king. At least as a healer, if we all become healers in here today, then we could all march back to Africa and say, just go heal mother. And get out of it. I recently was talked to by two sisters about a king from Ashanti that came. And they said that they wanted me to come and see the king. I said, you want me to leave my office to go see this king? The man is bloated up. He's sick. I could look and tell his eyes were very puffy. He had diabetes. He was loaded with fluid. I said, that man, the only way he would be healed by me is he crawl up these steps. You see, kings. I left from Brooklyn to see the lady in the bed. But she was no queen. She was just like me, the underdog. Kings, they crawl because they have not had any usefulness, not to you. All you could is talk about them. Say we have a stool, a golden stool, and he sits on it. A king now, hey king. Hey, he's the king. Sebi is the king. Now Sebi, what are you going to do? But I just have to sit on the throne and be a king. That's all I have to do, be a king. But what's the king? Where is the usefulness of a king? Does he provide you with food and shelter? No. He just stood and strong. He's a king. How did he get that? How we ask those questions? Just begin to ask those questions. Ask our anthropologists and go back and ask the historian. How come they didn't talk about the food that we were supposed to be eating? How come he talked about what they were doing? How does he know that? Black people in Africa wasn't doing anything but waking up and going to sleep. So that's all was needed to be done. Wake up and go to sleep. Our body wasn't made to work. I mean, many of you with your PhD degrees in your pocket would like to be in a situation where you only wake up, bathe yourself, and eat fresh fruit from a tree, and go back to sleep. That's a dream. That's a dream. With your PhD, crawl out with your Mercedes Benz and go be in that fluorescent light. And you're going to drink out of the plastic bottle. And you're going to be suited down where your neck is bleeding only your face. And this is supposed to be what? An advancement from that position? But look at the state of our bodies now. We all are sick and bodies. We do not have even the capacity to love. That only comes with health. When we are healthy, now we could embrace. Right? So we're going to heal each other now. Today was about healing, not with herbs alone, because healing is encompassing everything about the individual. I mean, we need love. We need all the love that we could muster up. I know how nice it is because I make myself available for it. Because it's nice. person feel? Why not give him that? It makes you feel good. Maybe one day when you give him a little bit now, then you come back and return that to you tomorrow. But again, to be in the state of wanting to love or having the capacity to love, we have to be healthy. So, to begin with, as black people, we have to abstain from the food that we have been conditioned to eat. Stop as much of it right now. I was the recipient of some that you were not. I ate cassava, some that the African people eat. Your American brothers and sisters who were born here don't know what cassava is. No, you don't know. It has arsenic. It's very starchy. It would affect your brain immediately. When I was a child, 15, I had very violent headaches. It meant that a tumor was growing in my head. And when I began to cramp, I felt the same headache telling me it was leaving. All of us have that tumor. Every black person in this room has that tumor, if you have not cleansed. Don't even be scared. Because the truth, you have a tumor in your brain, and they were quite aware of it. This is what prevented us from coming together. This is what prevents us from supporting Usha. I mean, Usha did not come to do something that was needed. Usha is curing AIDS, diabetes, and lupus, and blindness, and all the other diseases. Isn't that what we need? Yeah. Isn't that what we need to see our grandmothers healthy and strong again? So what prevents the community from embracing and helping Usha? What? That tumor. That tumor. That tumor. Where Annette and I went to New Orleans, and these white people treat us with royalty. Like royalty, I mean. They recognized what we had because she saw it in the Tony Brown Journal. But in New York, I used to get stones thrown at me. But I understood. Not because the Caucasian people give me that particular privilege and that kind of environment. I am still the son of Africa. And they come first. But I have to wait a little bit longer because, like I said, if 10 men go to sleep, and one wakes up at 5 in the morning, and the others are still sleeping, the best he could do is wait for those to wake up. Because if he tries to go and wake this one up over here, what's wrong with you? I'm still asleep, can't you see? So we cannot curse him because he's asleep. So we just have to unite all of us that are yawning, come together and begin the process of helping those that are still asleep. That is our duty. Those of us that are waking up begin to do things that would complement those that are still asleep. But instead we curse him. We call him dead. We call him asleep. Yes, he's asleep. But what are you doing in your awake state? Nothing. So let us do something now. Let us come together and further this healing process because it is grossly needed all over the world, not only in the black race, but in the whole human race. Healing is necessary. And we have that responsibility because we know that they don't know what they're doing. You know how old medicine been here? How long? It's been here for 253 years. They're not curing AIDS or sickle cell or diabetes. No, they're not. So what are they saying to us? They just can't do it. So now that your brothers and your sisters, that Usha is doing it, is it time for criticism? No, you can criticize us, I said. But what help would that be? Would be of no help. We have proven to the courts. We have proven to you in the community. All of you who have sent people to the Usha family, they all said what? That's right. That they did good. And they will do good. The Uganda government came and took some compounds and took it to a lady that had AIDS. And they came back and said, it's a miracle. It's a miracle. Dr. Sebi, she's up and she was out. She was waiting to die. And she's up and she's talking on the telephone and she's doing everything. She's going to the bathroom by herself. And she's doing that. Now, I didn't feel like it was a miracle, right? Because I just showed you how it was done. So I didn't feel like I deserved that, that kind of Dr. Sebi. And I don't like that. I never liked that position in which you give me that kind of reverence because I don't deserve that. Because I'm not doing something that you can't do and do it better. It's just that it has been removed from us so long that when it happens, then you want to give that person all kind of credit, and then you throw them off the rhythm. Because now that person, if careless, becomes what? Swell-headed. When you see what happened, the reason why it is difficult for me to become swell-headed, because see, I like to walk bare feet, and I like to go in the river and bathe. I like to laugh. I like to scream. See, I like those things. Those things makes me happy. And I told the family of Usha at the ending of this year, I would divorce myself totally from being in front of you talking, because I don't like this. It's an imposition on you. It is. It's really an imposition on you for your brother to come and talk to you. Then what is saying about you? Where's your head? That your brother knows about you when he's you. No, it's an imposition. So let us all rise together. Not the Usha family alone. No. So don't come here waiting for a big surprise. Oh, we're going to hear how AIDS is cured from a biochemical or chemical perspective. No, it's all garbage. The judge said to me when I was talking about how we cure AIDS at Usha, she said, Dr. Sebi, you make it sound so simple. I said, but man, everything is simple. Everything is simple. Those things that are of consequence, they are very simple. They're very easy. You see, I never heard this before. I say, I know that. Because the African people has not stepped in to world society and represent themselves as far as pathology and nutrition is concerned. But now, here it is. The African bio-mineral balance is in the archives of the Court of the United States. So in ending our little lecture, I want to say to you that I more than appreciate all these faces I see here. You know, I more than appreciate that, because the time has come in which we must come together, at least in healing. And remember that in healing, the one thing you will always remember is that love comes out of you for everyone. For everyone. You know, like we still hear racism, white hate blacks, black hate white. That's fine. We have our journey. Our journey was always one to give love. I don't know if we're going to be as careless now to allow the foreigners to tell us what to do and allow them to infiltrate in whatever way and destroy our little thing, but it is about loving everybody, including your enemy. Sure, it is true. Because in loving your enemy, you feel no pain. When you hate your enemy, only one person feels pain. Thank you very much. At the ending of every talk, there's always the better part of the lecture. The question and answer. Please, don't reserve your question. Feel free to ask whatever question you want to ask, because this evening it is family, isn't it? And are we supposed to hash out those things that need to be hashed this evening? Are we going to leave from here with the same empty-headedness that we left in other lectures? No, we're going to do something now. We may even devise a way in which we could see how we could collect $1, just $1. I'm going to show you all something very simple. $1. Suppose all of us in America gave $1 to the Usha family. You know how many dollars that is? That's about $40 million, isn't it? I mean, behave yourself. $40 million? It may be even more than that, isn't it? So let us say $40 million. Just say $75 million, $60 million. Just say $50 million. And we use $5 million to buy a building, or 2 or 3 of them in various big cities. That's only $20 million. And the other $20 million we invest in entities that will provide the herbs that we could heal everybody in our community. You see, just how much did it cost each brother? Just $1. I mean, I wish I was Reverend Ike on you one day alone. I wish I could be like the Pope, just one day, to take your money. But when I like to take your money and give it back to you in a very nice way to see the smile on your face. See what we did with your money? Because you would be administering that money. But we want to use just $1. We'll serve our problem. I mean, we could do it in a big way. Just $1 throughout the United States. So let us see how we could create a network throughout the United States. I just came back from Detroit, and it was a very sad story for me. I mean, I was in the middle of the NAACP annual convention. I took the brochure and I showed a delegate. Very interesting. Yeah, okay. I got in touch with you. You know what he read? Where Miss Emma Wright had sickle cell, I no longer had it. And that's all he said. Then I saw another one. He said, look, man, don't stop me that nonsense. If you could cure AIDS, man, you would be here talking to me. I said, thank you. Thank you very much. I stopped another one. I didn't stop. I stopped about 10 that day. I just want to hear it from their mouth. And everyone rejected me beautifully. The NAACP, the organization that championed itself for bringing the benefit of who? First question over there, lady. Yes, ma'am.
I have a heart problem, and I have to carry natural wisdom with me all the time. And also, I have low sugar. Can that be cured?
Most definitely. We have done it many times. Next question. Yes, sir.
Is it possible for me to join with you in this business?
Well, I'll tell you what. There's a young lady here named Lori, who is the president. She's right behind you, see? That lady right there. Yes.
Good.
She handles everything.
Good.
Yes, ma'am.
My sister has bone cancer. Can that be cured?
But ma'am, if AIDS is being cured, I feel that would be easier. Now, in dealing with myeloma, what part of the body are we dealing with? Bones. And in dealing with bones, what is the mineral? So are we going to use the oxide calcium or the phosphate calcium from the plant? You see how small we are? We already became doctors in 5 seconds. Yes, yes, then I'm coming to you. Oh, yes.
I'd like you to explain or tell us what foods are remedies.
Yeah. I used to like to do that, attempt to do that, but it goes on into a lengthy thing. The best way you could get that information is to call the Usha Institute or come down there and they will assist you, greatly assist you in giving you a list of things and explaining. In fact, we would like that if it is possible among you and the family of Usha to get together and then we would have a gathering in which we could show how to cook this food quick, very easy, nutritious, and it would not hurt you. Wouldn't that be nice?
Yes.
You see? Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Sebi, is fasting a part of the cleansing system?
Fasting is something that you would do gradually over a period of time. You would learn to fast. You would adjust yourself to fast. I'm doing it now. I have used all kinds of methods. One, I remember the first time I fasted, I went on it for 94 days non-stop. Didn't eat anything. You know, it was 20 years later that I did that. I didn't even do that. 20 years later, I fasted for 28 days only. So I learned that in fasting, you have to learn to fast because the stomach has to readjust. If you fast suddenly and your stomach shrinks, the conditioning of your head will say, I gotta fill this thing back up because it's still empty. But if you fast one day and eat another, fast one day and eat another, and take that for about 7 days, and then next month, let's see, I'm gonna fast for 2 days, I need 2 days. And then you go gradually, and then your stomach have a chance to be shrinking on you slowly. And once it's shrunk, the desire for food becomes minimum. I just talked to Mr. Lee.